So when I set this up, I go into this new shiny Google Hangouts, and you get this really weird setup. So when I tried to start yesterday's again, it was impossible to use it. So I'm hoping that the people in that Hangout will be able to join this Hangout. I had to set it up completely new. So although I said we'll use this Hangout again, when I went into the video call, and look how prepared I was, I wasn't able to open it up again. It was still locked down to Learn English Network members only. So, and by Learn English Network members only, I don't mean Learn English Network members of the forum. I mean people with an email account with the Learn English Network. Okay, sorry.
All right.
So you'd have had to have shiny at learnenglishnetwork.org and zom at learnenglishnetwork.org before it would let you in.
Well, a circle like that? No.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the bad news is that the video I wanted to share today is not going to be playable because even though this is the brand new
you don't have
Google,
YouTube.
There's no YouTube app. There's no apps. None of the apps.
No apps?
No. None of the apps that used to work in the old Google Hangouts work anymore. They killed.
So what are you going to do? Play the sound only?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. It wouldn't work very well because it's a bit like the grammar. Not the grammar. Grammar. I've got grammar on the brain. It's a bit like the Generations one. It's mostly music and sound. So I don't think so. So let's do something. I've always got backups, as you know.
Good.
So let's go into. We'll do more of a reading-y, talky kind of thing, maybe. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'm
good.
fine with that.
Let's find to read. And
so Shiny, I hope you are almost finished with brushing your teeth. If we have to read.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I've got something that hubby shared with me, which is actually quite good fun. So maybe we'll do that. Now, we were talking, and it ties in a little bit to today's Kitely session. Okay, so Zom, if you go into Kitely whilst I'm on holiday, I've put a little toy up for everybody.
All right, a toy.
Yeah, find the lighthouse. Monique knows where it is. She can take you
the
there.
Lighthouse.
Yeah.
All right.
Go to the lighthouse, and you'll find a bell by the lighthouse.
Okay.
Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Okay.
And what you'll get is
well,
what you'll get is you'll get a boat. Okay. And
a boat. I can go sailing.
Yeah. Well, not quite. It's a motorboat, but you can sit in it, and then you can use steering. And now, I can honestly tell you that one, it's very fast. Two, I managed to embed it in the shore.
You have a picture
vertically buried in the shore. I also nearly drowned.
It's still alive.
I am. Yeah, it's still there. So if anything goes awry, just stand, okay, and then the boat should unres itself whilst I'm away. If not, I'm going to come back and I'm going to find loads of boats lying everywhere. But never mind.
Okay, so if I got the same problem, I just stand. But what about the boat?
The boat I will stand up. Should. It takes a while, but the boat should unres. Okay.
It should unraise. Yeah. All right. And so if I want the boat again, I have to ring the bell again.
You have to go back to the lighthouse and ring the bell again. Yeah.
Okay, and ring the bell again.
I don't think you can sit back in the boat and it will work. I don't know. It depends how well it's scripted. I haven't tested it to destruction, but I did test it and I almost destroyed myself. So, but that's part of the course, isn't it, Shiny?
Okay.
Shiny sat in it, but she didn't go anywhere.
All right, no risk. And for you, more bruises and more scars.
Absolutely, yep. Yeah, because suddenly Shiny disappeared. I'm like, oh, where's she gone? And then I saw her sitting in the boat. And I thought, oh, this should be interesting. But she didn't go anywhere. You just use your direction keys to move it, by the way. So.
And in the boat, only one person can...
I think it's only one person.
Oh, all right.
Again,
Okay.
it was the middle of a session, so I thought I won't try and test this.
I will give it a go.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, it was fun, but it was like, oh my god, no, stop.
Well, I learned how to surf in kitely,
You did,
so
yes, indeed.
yeah.
I'm going to put that back, by the way, in the big sim, But we had a problem with because it's a VAR region. But I believe that the guy who scripts all these, very clever guy, I think his sim is Ocean Engineering, but he's a very good scripter, and he has sent a fix for the surfing problem for a VAR, what they call a VAR region, because we've got a 4 by
Ah,
4
okay. Yeah,
region,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's
Oh, that's good.
if you've got a
So I can
little
go
region.
surfing again.
I hope so. But I didn't have time to test it, so I just got the boat in. I thought that'll keep them amused for a couple of weeks anyway.
Okay, but Shani, about the bot, Shani is saying that there is no bottom. So, you sure? I'm not sure I will go sailing if there is,
When
if
you
I can't.
stand up, yeah, when you stand up, you'll fall through it because it is phantom. It's a phantom. So
Ah, all
don't
right.
stand
Okay.
up. You will fall through it. Make sure you're on Make sure you steer it onto land before you stand, because yes, you will fall to
Okay.
the bottom of the
All
sea.
right. Thank you, Shiny, for the information then.
But you're all right. I won't switch flying off. That would be funny. I can do that, I can switch off flying. So if you fell through, you'd have to walk out of the water. But
You
yeah,
can't switch off
watch
flying?
the video. Watch the
Everyone.
video.
Ah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
can
you did
switch.
it. You did it once.
I
You
did
did
for
it
a
once.
snowball
Yeah,
fight because you were cheating.
exactly. Not fair.
Okay, so when we were in the session today, apart from drowning and generally messing about, we were talking about Grace Darling and the RNLI, which is for Zom who wasn't there, the Royal National Lifeboat Institute,
Oh,
which is basically about rescuing people. Now, we've also got something called the Coast Guard,
yeah.
yeah, because we've got a lot of coast. Anybody know
Yeah, true.
how much coast we have in the UK? What is
In
the
what?
length of the
In
UK?
kilometer?
In miles, come on.
Oh, I don't know in miles.
Go on,
I
in
don't know either.
kilometres then.
The British coast, only mainland, or you
I would
are
say
considering?
mainland, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the coastline you want? I don't know. What's the superficie of the UK? Mm, I don't know. How could it be?
Well,
The
I mean,
coast,
I've never measured it
one,
myself, so
just trying to. I don't know how to measure it to get an idea. The Pembroke, I did Pembrokeshire, walking along the coast, probably 20, 30. So if I go around, but it's not straight line, it's very shaggy coast.
it
So,
is, yeah. It's not shaggy. Shaggy is more like
oh,
Sam was shaggy.
rugged?
Okay.
No, rugged coast? No,
Rugged.
rugged rock?
Yeah, rugged.
Rugged?
Rugged, yeah. It's
Rugged.
a rugged coastline and it's got
Next,
lots
no,
of
no, no.
inlets and, yeah.
What about 90, between 90, 100? No, more than that, probably. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know
th-
how to guess it.
exactly. It's a toughie. Yeah, it's a lot more than 200 or 1200 miles, by
Ah!
the way. Now, if you go to the Ordnance Survey, and you can find lots of different things, CIA fact book, etc. How they've calculated this, I do not know. But if we go by the Ordnance Survey, and they're the people who surveyed the
Yeah.
country, the whole country, it's just over 11,000 miles.
11,000 miles.
Yeah.
11,000 miles, so you multiply by, gosh,
17,000 kilometres above, over
no,
70,
no, 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 I
about
can't believe
18,000 kilometres. Yeah, just under.
11,000 miles.
Yeah, just under
Mainland,
18,000 kilometres. Okay.
mainland, UK mainland. You are not considering all the smaller islands
Not the
around.
smaller islands. No.
Wow.
I mean, if you're interested, of course, people have written about this. But I don't think we'll read that one. It's a bit dry. Maybe we can do that. I'll add it. I'll add it. I'll add it. So,
11,000 miles. I can't believe it.
it's a long way, isn't it? Yeah. And it's a difficult one to measure because, as you quite rightly said, Zom, it is rugged. It goes in and out.
Yeah.
So, are you going to do a straight line from maybe an inlet or from a peninsula? Or are you going to measure right along the peninsula? That's the sort of thing that many people have been arguing about for
Yeah,
a
yeah, and
long
the
time.
method, how to do it, and
Yeah,
a method that is accepted by everybody. Yeah.
absolutely. So, how long is a piece of string is a little bit like saying how long is the coastline of the UK. Okay, let me just bookmark that one, and we'll save that one for Ron. It's
And it makes me wonder about Japan, actually. Now,
Japan.
yeah, Japan.
Mm-mm.
About
Not Japan. Japan.
what is it? Japan.
Japan. Yeah.
Jap
We
Japan.
say
Japan.
Japanese, but we say Japan. Hi, Gavin. Could you mute, please? Okay, I'll just mute him. Okay, remember to mute your mic when joining a session. So, hi, Gavin. Okay, that's the other nice thing about the new Hangouts. You can mute people. I discovered yesterday.
Ah, you are muting people? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I feel lucky so far.
Okay, so I can unmute as well.
Ah, you can unmute people
Oh,
as
no,
well,
no,
so you
they
can
have to
unmute
unmute
Shiny.
themselves, I think. Yeah.
They have to unmute
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah,
Okay.
no, that's fair
So
enough.
we are not puppets. Thanks God.
Well, there is that. There is that. Oh, I'm getting messages. Why am I getting messages?
Because people can't join. They are trying to join, but they are not successful.
Are they?
Not good time for speaking. I'll be back in 30 minutes.
Who's that?
Well, they don't know that there is a group chat, so they are using the chat embedded in the mail feature.
Oh, that's very strange. Okay. Okay, so Gavin left. Now
Well,
Sazid is
it didn't
joining
like
us.
you muting him.
Well, tough. Come in, noisy environment. My ears. don't destroy my
Yeah,
ears.
true.
Whatever you
Good
do.
afternoon.
Okay, so hello, Sazid. We were talking about the
Hi.
coastline of the UK. So you'll have to sort of do a little bit of catch up on what we're talking about. And earlier we were talking about getting into trouble along the coastline. The last few sessions in Kitely, we talked about the Birmingham Navy. Okay. The Birmingham
Navy? Burning
Navy.
the name of the city?
Yep,
What?
the Birmingham
Birmingham?
Navy. Yeah. So where is Birmingham? Does anybody know? Birmingham, UK,
Yeah.
by the way, not Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah,
It's
more
in England.
northeast, more east. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so don't forget when you're not speaking to mute, and then type mic if you want to speak as the room gets busier. But yeah, Birmingham is in England. But where in England? Why would it have a navy? If you look at
Maybe
a
it's
map,
beside a sea.
it's not actually. You'd think so, wouldn't you?
No, because there is Wales.
Yeah, there's a lot of Wales.
Yeah.
Birmingham is actually in the Midlands, which is where I come from. I don't come from Birmingham, but I come from the Midlands. So let's have a look at the UK. I'm going to screen share, so bear with me. Okay. If you click on my icon, it should show you a nice little Google map.
Yeah, but it's just land here. We can't see.
Look at it. It's land. Yeah,
that's it.
look. There you go. But look, it's right. Yeah. I mean, there's...
Yeah, it's the Midland.
It's far away from any
It's
coast.
in the Midlands. That's it. Exactly. So it's a long way from the coast. So why do we have something called the Birmingham Navy? Now, it is a joke, by the way. It is a
It is
bit
a
of
joke?
Yeah. It is.
Because because it's England, and England needs a navy, and so the closest to the coast for England is Birmingham.
No.
No,
No,
I can be that anyway
we
because
do
they're
have
in
a
the
very
west coast.
we do have a very proud tradition of our naval traditions are very proud, but they tend to be more so for example Portsmouth, etc. Okay, you
Yeah, yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
expect to
yeah.
find a Birmingham Navy. No, the Birmingham Navy is used to describe people who don't usually go out to sea, who don't know how to swim, who don't know how to sail, who don't know how to use a boat. And they come the weekend, it's nice and sunny, so they go off with their little dinghy
Well,
or their rubber boat and they head off to the coast.
oh,
So so
All
so
people
over.
don't know how to swim, and their name is Navy.
Yep. What happens is they go out to the coast, they get on their little rubber dinghy, and before you know it, they're halfway over to Ireland, they're halfway across to America, they're heading
huh?
over to France.
No kidding?
Yeah. So they're called the Birmingham
Wow,
Navy because they get into trouble at sea. And so what happens? Somebody has to go and rescue them.
wow. And they have to pay for being rescued
No,
if so many of them are
no.
is
So
doing it.
people phone the emergency services. They see someone going, help, help. What number do they dial? What number do you dial if you see somebody in trouble or if you're in trouble in the UK? What's our emergency number?
In the
Maybe
UK,
911.
That's America. You're not going to get anybody if... Oh, you're dead. I'm sorry.
it's
You've drowned, Sazid. I'm so sorry. 911. No.
No, no, no problem.
is it the 111?
Not
Or you can
111,
have the
no.
112, the
Not
European
112.
one.
I think 112 might work, actually, nowadays.
What
Probably not
112?
after Brexit, though. Well done, Shiny. Shiny rescued us all. It's 999.
Ah, it's 999.
Oh,
Yeah, 999.
So what is it in Australia? It's 111 or then in Australia?
I honestly don't know. But yeah, it should really... We should get together as a world and decide on an international
Yeah, it's a
rescue
triple zero
number.
in Australia. Is the reason why I said
It's
triple zero.
112
I
in
thought it could
Germany. It's 112 in Germany. But if
112 in
you
France.
any of the services in the UK, ambulance, fire, police, and the Coast Guard, you will reach them with 999. You get an operator, and they will go, emergency services. Which service do you require? And that's when you
Ah,
decide.
okay. So you go
Everybody.
to something centralized, and then
Yeah,
they dispatch
and
the
they
call to the right.
dispatch depending
Okay.
on what you report. If it's a medical emergency, you'll get an ambulance. If it's a fire, you'll get the fire service. For example, I don't know if you've seen the tragic events that happened recently in London at Grenfell Tower, and that was fire, police, ambulance. They were all sent there because that was a major emergency. Okay, but if it's along the coast, if it's somebody out at sea, you'll get the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard the Coast Guard are the professional body, often with the Navy they'll work together, and also with something called the RNLI, the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, which is
So it's
actually
military. It's
voluntary.
linked. It's linked to the. All
Well,
right.
the Navy would feel obliged to help in emergency. The Coast Guard, they're there to protect the coast. They go after smugglers. They go after,
Well,
they're
and they
there
make joke with the French. I
more
can
like
tell
that.
you in Wales.
Yeah, exactly. But they're there, and they will also help in an emergency. The idea is if somebody's in trouble at sea, you have a moral obligation. Sorry, Zom, but there was a reason I put that article up. You have an obligation to help. Okay, so the Navy
yes.
and the Coast Guard would help out, but the people who are really there for you are the RNLI, and they're volunteers. We also have
Oh,
something
that's
called
very
Mountain
interesting.
Rescue. If you get into trouble in the mountains or hills in the UK, Mountain Rescue are run by volunteers, unpaid volunteers. Okay,
Okay. And
yeah.
where do they get the money for their organization and the equipment and they don't
Purely
pay themselves
from
with their own money?
purely from donations. Okay.
Purely from donations.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. There's no government money. They're purely financed through donations. And so there are lots and lots of events happen. I don't know have you heard of Blue Peter?
Yeah, well, you
No.
talk about it with Marianne on the forum once.
Yeah. Blue Peter's a TV program in the UK, very famous. It's been going forever. And they often do sort of volunteer charity events, and quite often people will collect, I don't know, milk bottle tops, or they'll hold fundraising events, and the money will go to the RNLI or to Mountain Rescue or whichever charity they're
Okay.
supporting. Okay, so it's purely voluntary, nobody gets paid, but they come out at their own risk and rescue you. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, now when you dial 999, this year actually, 999 was launched 80 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
very old.
exactly. So, Zom, you were the first in the room. If you would like to read that text, it's in local chats. Yeah.
In the group chat, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The world's first emergency phone service, 999, was launched in the UK in June 1937. We take a look back at the highs and lows in the history of the service.
Okay. So, can you imagine the sort of things that were reported over 80 years of emergency calls?
I don't want to know.
Can you imagine? Let me just stop screen sharing. Okay.
So 1937, the
Yeah.
phone, the telephone was invented, created when?
I love it when people think I'm a history teacher.
Well, it's we are talking about the history of the phone service, so I just something I can Google. No worries.
I think the first phone call, the actual first
so
phone
it was in
call
the
was made in
1870
something. But
yeah.
Do you know who called
1930.
first at the emergency?
I think the first emergency call was recorded. Now, the thing you will find, if you do phone up the emergency services, every call is recorded. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that happened 80 years ago, though.
Oh,
No, probably not.
So how many calls? Okay, let's do a little quiz then. How many calls
Yeah.
do you think they handle in a week, maybe?
In a week or a day?
In a week.
In a week. Weekend included.
A week.
No, more than 2,000 to me.
More than 2,000.
500 calls.
Sazid, yeah?
500 calls in a week.
500 a week, yeah? Shiny?
No, I would say
Okay,
between
Shiny's
3,000
going between 2,000 and looks like
200,000.
200,000.
No, I would say 500 a day times 7. Well, I would say 4,000.
Okay, well, when it first started, it was receiving around 1,000 calls. In its first week of operation, it received 1,000 calls.
Okay.
Now it gets 560,000 calls a week.
A week.
A week.
Oh
And you
my God.
include dumb calls in that, fake ones.
I would think
People
so,
are
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joke calls. You know,
Jokes
like,
call.
there's a train on the line. No, you don't do that. Don't do that. That's 30 million calls a year. It's a 24/7 operation. There's
Well, I don't want to
always
be the
people there.
operator
Yeah, it's
behind
a
the
tough
computer,
job.
I can tell you.
It's a tough job. Okay, so let's read about the last 80 years. Okay. Shiny, are you okay to read? There's your text.
Yes, but I can't see anything.
Oh, have you got a little...
Where you type, you can see the text.
Can you see the text under where you
Yes.
typed?
Oh, sorry. I just watched the screen.
Oh, no,
So-
it's too small. It's too small on the screen. So if you can use the text, if it's too small, just cut and paste it and make it larger in a notepad or something.
Okay, 30 million calls a year. The last 8 decades has seen the service expand from handling more than 1,000 calls in its first week of operation in London in 1937 to around 56,000 calls a week, now around 30 million calls a year, according to BT's uh, archives. The service was launched following a fire at a London doctor's surgery in November 1935 that resulted in 5 fatalities and led to a committee set up by the government to look at how telephone operators could identify emergency calls.
Well done. Some tricky vocabulary there. But remember, you've got to work on your big numbers. The world has changed. Little numbers are no longer enough. So not 56,000, 560,000. Say it. 560,000.
560,000.
Yeah, and when it's written in British English, usually we use the comma to separate thousands. So that would be 10,000. So if you look for the comma, you can see that's 100. You know 100. You're comfortable with 100. There you've got 100, comma, and then 3 zeros, 100,000. And remember, the comma in English we use to separate thousands. We use the dot to separate the decimals. So if you were doing cash, it would be £100. That would be 100. But if you're doing big numbers, then you have to look for the commas, and that would be a million. Okay, 100 million. Sorry. Hello, Artem. How are you? Right, you've come halfway through the call, so you'll just have to play catch up and try and figure out what the heck we're talking about. Okay. So it was launched following a tragedy. That's what normally happens.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. So
Okay.
big fire, 5 people died, and so they called a committee. That's what we do in the UK. Oh, let's have a committee. Okay. It's what we do. We're British. We like committees. Government by committee.
Far too much.
Okay,
Here in our country also, everywhere there is committee.
well, sometimes it's a good way to deal with things, but not always. Not all committees. At the moment, we have committees meeting about this Grenfell fire disaster. And, you know, at the end of the day, it won't change anything that has happened. But hopefully, it will prevent something so awful happening in the future. Okay. So, Sazid, are you okay to read? Would you like to read?
Yes.
Okay, if you give it a go. Oh, hang on. No, before you start, let me just finish off with Shiny. Just one other word. 2 other words. Archives. I know it says arch, but we say archive.
Archives.
Yeah, wherever you put all your old documents, we call them an archive. Okay? And then fatalities. If something is fatal, there are fatalities. Try it.
Fatalities.
Very good. Well done. Okay, sorry about that, Sazid. If you'd like to
No problem.
try reading.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Can you see the text?
No.
In chat, under where Shiny's put thank you. Can you see local chat?
No. I'm in my tablet PC. I can see a Leo network.
Okay, let me
Yeah.
it might be whichever platform you're on. There's always a way around this, don't worry. I'll screen share, okay? Bear with me a second. I'll try and make it large enough for you to see. That's the big problem in this. Okay. Fingers crossed, everybody.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, as ever.
Yes. Touch wood.
Okay, can you read that?
Yes, yes.
Excellent.
I'm starting. The committee proposed that there should be a standard, easy to remember nationwide number to alert the emergency services. First, considering 707, which corresponded to the letters SOS on the telephone dial, and 333, but settling on 9909 as the most practical number. Initially, each 999 call triggered flashing red lights and hooters to alert exchange operators to give priority to the emergency call. But the hooters were so loud that the operators pushed a tennis ball into the horn to reduce the volume.
Very good. Well done. I mean, if you can imagine, you can imagine this. You've got what, 10, 15 operators maybe. In the past, all calls went through operators. You had to ask to be put through. Okay, you couldn't dial
Yeah,
directly. You went to an operator service, and they would then connect you to, like a switchboard. Yeah, they would
Yep.
connect you
yeah,
through. It's none of this, instant communication we have nowadays. So they were handling normal calls, but they were also getting emergency calls. So they needed to know it was an emergency. But if you can imagine a big, busy operating service, and then suddenly you've got beep, beep, beep,
Yes, you can imagine.
beep.
Air horn bot is back.
Yes. Okay, you have to be in Discord to understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, so very nicely read. Well done. There's just one word. One word I would say. Nationwide, not nation. Nation.
Lina, what does it
nationwide.
mean, hooters?
Hooters. A hooter.
It's an owl.
Woo! Woo, 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 woo. That's a hooter, okay? Not to be confused with the American chain called Hooters. That's something completely different. You can inform yourself about that. I'm not going to go into that. But yes, a hooter in this context is like a horn, something, an alarm that goes roop, 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 roop. Okay? Okay. Yeah, an owl hoots, but not quite so loudly. An owl is more
No, not so
twit-woo,
loudly. But you do it
twit-woo.
very well, actually. You are not an owl. Definitely not.
No, I can do owl. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Hoo, hoo, hoo. I like
What kind of
teasing.
owl is that?
No, I like teasing. I like teasing owls. I speak when I'm camping, yeah, because remember
Yeah.
we go camping a lot. And you get owls, and they've got different sounds. By the way, there's a screech owl that's more. And I have
Okay, so you communicate with them.
woo, woo, woo. It's lovely, and they answer back. It's really sweet.
Oh, okay, all right. So we know what language she's learning, guys. beside
Beside German, yeah.
beside German.
But yes, an owl hoots. Well done. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so it also mentioned here SOS. So
Yes.
707 corresponded with S. What does SOS mean? Does anybody know? If I
It's
said
got a
to you
meaning?
SOS. Oh yes.
If you go somewhere, you need to write down this uh, signature on the ground,
Maybe
and
it's
some
distress
team will
signal.
come and rescue you from this
Exactly.
awful
You're
situation.
asking for rescue. Okay. Now there is, if you go online and you look at the meaning of SOS, lots of people argue about what it means, where it comes from. But basically, some people say it means save our ships. Some people say it means save our souls. But it's an international emergency. It's like Mayday. Have you heard of
Yeah.
Mayday? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of Mayday. When they fall in distress, they say
That's
Mayday,
it.
Mayday.
Yeah, especially ships. Mayday, Mayday. We're sinking. What
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
thinking? No. It's a lot. But Mayday, SOS, only used in emergencies. And you're quite right, Artem. You can, if you're lost on a desert island or in the middle of, you can write it out in rocks or something and hope that a search and rescue aeroplane might see it from up above. Yeah, or you can light a bonfire.
What does it mean? Do you copy? Do you copy? Yes,
Yeah, it
it's
means,
you,
can
right?
you hear me? Can you hear me? Copy here doesn't mean like, have you got a photocopier on you? It just means, do you understand? Can you hear what I mean? Copy?
Oh. Yeah, maybe who use walkie-talkie, they use like copy, Roger that,
Yeah,
something like.
Roger is another one. Yeah, Roger. In fact, Zom's the one who probably knows more about these calls. They're called
Yeah,
call signs, yeah?
there are
Over and out, over and out. At the end of a call, people say over and out. But it's specifically if you are in radio communication. You wouldn't say it on the telephone. Roger that, over and out.
Roger and that. But Roger, a lot of people use it as a slang in day-to-day life.
Yeah,
In
just means I understand again. Yeah, Roger. Yeah.
yeah.
Or I will comply. I will do that. Yeah,
Will
absolutely.
go.
Okay, I'll just stop screen sharing for a moment. Any questions so far?
Yeah. So they decided for 999. All right, but there are several choices. How did they make the choice? Because they tried 707, 333, 999.
Okay, what they wanted was a number that could be easily dialed. Now, got a couple of young
Okay.
people in here. They probably don't know what I actually mean by dialing. We still use the term to dial a number. Yeah.
Yeah,
On your
okay.
phone.
You
But-
dial a number, but
Yeah.
we don't dial. Now we push.
Exactly, but we're not going to change it because it's stuck in the past. We dial a number, and that's that. Okay.
Okay.
And we use the word dial because the old telephone, yeah, the old
Okay,
telephone.
you can make the sound of it. I can't, but you can probably.
Probably,
Come on.
if I was so inclined.
All right.
Okay,
Next
so
time, maybe.
but yeah, if you look at an old phone, you'd got
My
the
my aunt
phone
my,
dial.
my aunt used to tell the joke that he hated the people who have a lot of number 9 in his number. It's a little bit complicated
It
to.
was. Well, it took ages to dial. If you look at this old phone here,
Yeah.
the number 9 on the old phones was there. So it was the closest, yeah?
Oh,
And it was very easy
Yeah.
to find the hole you needed to put your finger in, even if it was maybe very smoky, lots of fire. It was very easy to find that particular hole for the phone, and it was very easy to go 999.
And
My
it's,
mother
Nine is
had
the
a
last
phone
number.
lock, and the phone lock would go here, and that would be the only number you could dial because it wouldn't go past here. It would be 999. We
Okay.
couldn't
Yeah,
phone our friends.
you go clockwise. You go clockwise. Yeah,
Exactly.
right. Okay.
Yeah, now I understand why they choose 999.
Yeah, it makes sense when you see that. It makes no sense now because we've got push button phones. You know, why did they choose 999? But that's why, because of the old phone style. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was, committees can sometimes come up with good ideas.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Practical ideas sometimes.
Okay, so next to read, I think we're back. Oh no, Artem, you haven't read yet. Artem, are you okay to read today?
Yeah, I'm always.
Okay, good. Well, I never assume. I don't know. You might be at work. You might be on the bus, like Aladdin was in the karaoke. Okay, let me give you your text. There you go.
Glasgow was the second city to introduce the service in 1938, but the Second World War delayed the rollout across the UK until it reached all major towns and cities by 1948. Halts or unnecessary calls were a feature of the 999 service from the very beginning, including complaints about bagpipers being played outside a house and a dispute between a neighbor and the local coalman.
Very good. Well done. Okay. So,
Back-
couple of words first, then we'll talk about the meaning. Okay. Major. A major accident, a big accident.
Yeah,
So try it. Major.
major,
Yep.
major,
More. No. May. Like May. The month of May.
Ma-
Yeah.
major.
Major.
major,
That's it. Yeah.
major,
Yeah.
major.
Even though we say majesty, we say major. Welcome to English pronunciation. Okay, the next one. The bagpipes. Guaranteed to send me wanting to go to the toilet as soon as I hear them. Bagpipes, okay?
Pipe.
Pipes, yeah, the bagpipes. You know the Scottish people that play that musical instrument?
Yeah, it looks like a bag with pipes.
That's it, exactly. It's a bag with pipes. We call them the bagpipes, okay? And the last one, the coalman. The coalman.
The people who work in mines.
No, that would be a coal worker or a miner. A miner works the mine. So try saying the word first, Artem. Coalman.
Coleman.
Yep.
Coleman.
What do you think a coalman did? Any ideas? Anybody? He was not down the mines ever.
Then it was distributing, selling maybe
Yeah,
the
he
coal.
would deliver the coal. You would order the coal from the
Deliver.
coal board, and then he would deliver the coal. And often people had a coal house, which used to be the old outhouse. Oh, bear with me one second. I'll be right back. Hang on, sorry. I'll be right back. I've got to go. I've got somebody looking very strange outside. Hang on.
Be safe, be safe.
Who is he? Laika, come on. Bite him.
Don't forget to take with yourself a gun. It can be dangerous.
Dangerous. It could be dangerous. Be careful. Get the dog out.
There are a lot of Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead. Zombie all around. Yeah. I'm not sure she wants zombies around, but it could be anything. And there is nothing worse than zombies. I totally agree with you. And they will not stop. Then it's fact, the session is over if there are zombies. But anyway.
Outside so strong. Wind.
She's back, so we are going to stop talking about zombies.
I'm back.
It was not zombies, Hartman.
It's safe.
Well, I don't know who it was, but they didn't have the patience for me to get to the front door, so stuff them. Okay, so, yeah, the coalman would deliver the coal. I think that's where we were, weren't we? It's an old job. I mean, not many places have coal anymore, coal-fired houses, because of smog and pollution. We've got central heating, usually gas central heating in the UK. So
But
the old
not
coal.
back into fashion. It's not back into fashion to have a chimney and.
Well,
they use
most
what?
houses have a chimney, but quite often you'll find a wood-burning stove inside
Oh,
rather
right,
than a
okay,
coal-fired
yeah.
stove. Coal is stinky, polluting stuff, I'm afraid. Causes smog. I mean, you've only got to look at the London smog deaths to know why. We have smoke-free coal, but it's very expensive. So most people have converted to wood-fired or to oil, or most in the UK, gas. Okay. Anyway, it mentions here hoax calls. Hoax calls. What do they mean by a hoax call?
But they are giving the definition just after.
Mm-hmm.
Unnecessary calls.
Yeah, but hoax or
No,
unnecessary
it's
calls.
some teenager, for them, can play a game where says that it's cool, has been settled a bomb.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Hoax bomb calls. They were a feature of my childhood. We often had to evacuate the school because there was supposedly a bomb there. No, honestly, we had the IRA after us.
And she was the one doing it, you guys.
I was not.
Maybe. No?
I was a good girl. I was a good girl. But no, we often had hoax calls and we had to all leave school and wait in the playground in the pouring rain. It was horrible. No, I'd much rather there hadn't been any. And once, well, it wasn't a hoax. Somebody burnt my homework. Well,
Somebody burnt you.
yeah,
because
it was the whole block. It was the whole block. Best homework I ever did, and it went up in flames.
Yeah, for sure it was burnt.
It was.
You're not going to say the other.
Okay, so I worked very hard on my geography project, I'll have you know. But yeah, hoax calls, not unnecessary calls would be silly disputes. You know,
Ah, okay.
that would
Okay.
be really. Did you have to? This is the. Is that an emergency?
Yeah, you
You know,
can
it's the
sort it out yourself. Yeah, right.
exactly. You know, I just dropped my dinner. You know, no, you think I'm
I
joking?
spent a lot of time cooking it.
Yes,
It's now
I'm
on the
I'm gonna get
floor.
I'm gonna go hungry. I've just dropped my dinner. What do I do? Unnecessary hoax calls are something more malicious.
All
So,
right.
for
Okay.
example, I know this one from school. And you were right, Artem. Young people, naughty, naughty young
It's
people.
good to be young.
And this was in the days of the old phone box as well. You wouldn't do it from home because they could trace the call, but you'd go to a public phone box, and all public phone boxes you could. I mean, you couldn't phone for free. You couldn't phone your friends for free. You couldn't phone, but you could phone the emergency services for free. 999
For
calls were
free.
always free. So of course that got abused, and the kid would phone up, and the operator would say, "Which service do you require?" And they'd say, "Police." And they'd put them through to the police service, say, "What is the nature of your emergency?" And they'd shout down the thing, "There's a train on the line." On the line, yeah, the phone line. Oh my goodness, it was bad. It was bad. But there you go. Innocent days
Well, it's a pretty
compared with
good
what
one, I
happens
think.
nowadays. Please don't do it. Okay, I never did it. I was a good girl.
But I'm surprised because they were not trying to sort out the call before reaching the police. I mean, the operator was
Well,
just
yes,
putting
but
through
I
to the
mean,
service without.
they had to treat. You have to treat, even if it's a giggling child, you have to treat everything as if it's really is an emergency.
Yeah, all right, okay.
I mean, because it might be a nervous child. I mean, children have saved people's lives. You know, you often read about
Yeah,
a child who
yeah.
phoned up and their mother
Sometimes.
was, yeah, it happened. So they're very, very well trained, the emergency services, and the people who handle the calls, who are unsung heroes. We were talking about heroes earlier, Shiny. An unsung hero. The person who just gets on with their job. Nobody makes a fuss. But, you know, these people do this job day in, day out, and they treat every call very seriously. Okay? But hoax calls are very naughty because whilst you're keeping the line busy on a hoax call,
Yeah.
somebody else is trying to phone a real emergency. So don't do it, children. Okay, next one to read. I think we're back round to you, aren't we, Zom? It's your turn.
Yeah, true.
Hang on. Let me just get
It's
rid
back
of.
to me.
I've got the wrong cut and paste again, of course. Hello, come on. Okay, here you go.
Where does it start?
After hoax calls,
Okay.
BT.
Yeah. BT said more than 97% of
Can I
calls are
see
now
any screen
answered
it?
within 5 seconds, with 62% of calls made by members of the public currently coming from mobile phone. However, around 35% of calls do not involve actual requests for help, with the majority of these made by children playing with home phones or people accidentally dialing 999 or the European emergency number 112, often from a mobile handset in a pocket or handbag.
Very good, perfect pronunciation. Well done.
Oh, good. I'm improving.
Yay.
I'm improving. I've got to keep reading.
Can I see it in screen?
Sorry. Oh yeah, no,
Can
yeah. Sorry, I've not done that. I didn't do that. Okay, let me. I forgot you can't see the. Are you on your mobile phone, by the way?
Yeah, I'm on a tablet PC.
Oh, okay. I'm never quite sure what people can see, but that's the bit that Zom just read.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sorry, just I didn't. I'd
So
forgotten.
they leave the handset in their pocket or
Yes.
handbag.
Do you
and
know
they
what
dial?
that's called when it's left in the pocket and you accidentally dial? There is a
No,
name
what is
for
it
it.
called?
I'm not sure if I should tell you.
Too late. You have to now. Yeah, it's strange, but I'll type it down then.
Okay, it's called a bum call. Okay.
All right. Love it.
Well, It's normally done by men because, let's face it, ladies, we put it in our handbag, don't we? But my
Yes.
husband, he does it. He sticks his phone in his back pocket, and then they sit down, and it's either on it's on quick dial or something, and I'll literally get a call from my husband. I'm talking to his bum.
That's excellent. I love it. The bum call.
That's what they call it. That's what they call it. So yeah, it's something that does happen, and that's what it's called. Now you know. Oh my goodness, the things I have to explain in these sessions.
Hey, sometimes I love loving English. You know that?
Well, it is a playful language. I keep telling you it's a playful language. So as you can see, in the UK, you can use the European number 112. They've tied that
Yeah.
in, but there's still not a global number. And I honestly think there should be.
I still
really
wonder
do.
where they land when they ring 112. A place, the same place as 999, or
yeah,
a different place?
it's forwarded. We've even got a non-emergency number now, where
We
it's
have the
kind
same
of...
emergency number 112. The police.
No, you go to the call centre, yeah? But there is a non-emergency number in the UK now where you can phone up if it's something you're worried about, but it's not really something where somebody
Okay.
has to go round with.
Might be
That's
important.
101, yeah?
Oh,
101.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a useful number to have, but again, a lot of people don't even know it exists. But 101 will get you assistance, but it's the more the kind of assistance, the cat stuck up a tree, or
And it's free?
my child won't eat his dinner. I mean, people phone up for the most ridiculous reasons, honestly.
And it's free too?
It's free as well, yeah. All the emergency numbers are free, yeah. Just don't phone
Okay.
118 118. That is not free. That's
No.
one of the most expensive rip-offs in the UK.
Yeah.
You used to
No,
be able to
in-
phone up you used to be able to phone up the talking clock, but you can't do that for free anymore. I think that's stopped. And there was also directory inquiries, but again, that has stopped. The internet's taken over directory inquiries, where you could phone up and say, "Oh, I want Zomgaboo's number," and they'd look it up for you. Where did they live? Da, 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 da. Oh no, sorry, that's X-Directory. So that's stopped as well. But the emergency
Okay.
services, completely free service. Okay. Don't phone the talking clock. That's no longer free. Don't phone 118 directory inquiries. That's no longer free either.
And the talking clock still exists.
I think it still exists. Yes, they had a new voice not so long ago, but it's not free. It's not a free call anymore.
Okay.
A lot of
So
people
I'm
used to use
wondering
it
who
to.
is calling the talking clock. I don't see the point of having a service that you have to pay for to ask for the
At
time.
the third tone, it will be 14:30.
Bing.
People who want, yeah,
Bing.
beep, beep, beep. No, I think it used to go beep, beep, beep. It's like this long
yeah.
beep. And then you could synchronise your watches. The police used to use it. I know that. The police used to use it because it would synchronise
Okay.
everybody's watches.
But now our phone are synchronized with the time of the operator we are linked to with the mobile phone.
Oh yeah,
So
I
we
mean,
are.
with the satellites now, you don't
Yeah,
need it.
with the
You don't need a
satellite,
talking
exactly.
clock anymore. Absolutely,
So-
yeah. But anyway, it was
So I'm
used in the
surprised
past.
it still exists. I'm very surprised it still exists. I don't see the point.
Well, I guess some people just want to speak to a human.
Well, are you sure it's a human voice behind it?
It is, yes.
Can't be
They,
anyone.
no, they have a human record it all, and then it's obviously put into a piece of software, and it automatically. But it is a human's voice. The woman who used to do it, she was famous. Then it was a man, and I think it's a woman again now. But I'm not going to phone up to find out because it's expensive. It's an expensive.
It is
phone call.
expensive.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. Rip off.
Poor woman. So she's doing a job and nobody is calling.
Yeah, I don't think she sits there waiting for calls. She is now a bot, but the voice recorded
Yes.
is a human voice. Okay.
Okay, so the voice is human,
Yeah.
and otherwise it's all automated.
It's completely automated. Yeah. Okay, Sazid, can you see the text?
Yes,
Okay. Would you like to read the next bit?
yes, I'm starting. Peak times are around midnight on Friday and Saturday nights when around 5,000 calls an hour are made to the service. The early hours of the New Year's Day are traditionally the busiest time of the year. So, when up to 9,000 calls can be reached an hour, can be received an hour each hour. But VT Ventures Managing Director Nick Hale said, recent events in the UK mean people are acutely aware of the work of the emergency services and the value of the 999 service.
Yeah, very good. Nicely read. A few little hiccups, but you corrected yourself, which is fantastic. Just stopping yourself thinking, that doesn't make any sense. Go back,
Okay.
reread it. Well done. Well done. Okay, so New Year's Day, yes. Mixture of long night and lots of alcohol, I'm afraid. It is mental in the UK. And a
Okay.
lot of not just hoax calls, but real emergencies of people who've just overindulged and need to be picked up.
Overindulge. Yeah.
And people
Well,
people who missed the last bus home, they phone up the emergency service. I've just missed my last bus. I'm like, yeah, and
how can I do to go back home? I'm not going to to sleep on the street. It's too cold on the bridge.
exactly. So, any questions about the tech?
Yes, I've got one. BT, I know that it's British Telecom, but BT Ventures,
Yeah.
it's the name of the company?
It's BT and it's a branch of BT. It's like a split off company. BT used to be British Telecom, as in it was a nationalised company, and then it
Yeah.
was privatised, and then it became too big, so they broke it up into different areas.
Ah, okay.
But
So
they
this
still
is
have the remit for emergency services. They still have to do that.
okay.
Okay. Whether they should or not.
Why does he say that people are acutely aware of the work of the emergency services? Does it mean that there is less and less hoax, fake call, or job calls?
Recently, I believe, don't quote me on this, I haven't got the statistics, but I believe recently, following the attacks in London and following the Grenfell fire, people have kind of woken
Okay.
up to the
Because
fact
of
that,
the events and
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
because of the real emergencies, the big. Because most of the time people don't really see what the emergency services do. The people who are affected see it. You know, they come and rescue you
Yeah.
from a burning building. You're
Yeah.
very grateful, but it doesn't hit the national news.
No.
However, recent events, that means things that have recently happened, all over the news. People very shocked, and then suddenly people realise, actually, maybe it's not such a good idea to phone up and go, there's a train on the line, because, you know, these people put their lives on the line. Okay? The real heroes. Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, I think Shiny, it's your turn to speak, to read now, isn't it? I think I missed you. I'm sorry. I do that sometimes. Shiny, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay, if you'd like to read this next bit, I'll put it in both chats, okay?
I'm extremely proud of the BT operators and their role in 999. They are an extremely capable and committed team working at the sharp end of the most important communication services in the country. Countless lives have been saved over the last 80 years because of their professionalism and dedication.
Very good, well done. Perfect pronunciation, but just try this one a little bit faster. Professionalism.
Professionalism.
Yes, to be professional, to show professionalism. Good, well done. Yes, when you think about the number of lives that have been saved due to the emergency services and the operators, they should be proud. Really, they should be proud.
Well, it's funny because we are having this session, so you make me aware of it. But to be honest, it's something that just slipped out of my mind.
Well, you always hope you don't need them, to be honest. I'd much rather not need them. But have any of you ever phoned the emergency services?
Never in my case.
Extremely proud of.
Hello, Gavin. You came earlier, you left, and you're back.
Hey, can you hear me,
I
guys?
can hear you. Yes. Were you having connection
I'm
problems?
sorry. I'm sorry because before I was having dinner.
Okay. Oh, that's all right. Bon appetit and all that. I hope you had a nice dinner. Okay, just to
It's
explain to
glad to hear your
those.
voice again. I mean,
Yeah, long time. Okay, just to explain, when somebody writes 111, it means we can hear you. 222 means we can't hear you. 1212 means you're breaking up. That's just for Sazid, who probably doesn't know why Shiny just wrote 111. She's not phoning the emergency services. You're all right. Okay, now it says here on the at the sharp end. They're at the sharp end. What does it mean if you're at the sharp end?
The most uncomfortable place,
Mm-hmm.
the most difficult,
So
complicated, dangerous, sharp.
yeah, exactly. Any more adjectives? Let me go through my list of adjectives. No, literally, we sometimes say the business end as well. You might hear somebody say the business end. The bit that, as you say, can be uncomfortable, can be dangerous in this case. But they're not actually in danger, the operators. Okay? They're sitting in a room, in a comfortable chair at a desk, answering phone calls. There's nothing really dangerous there, but they are the people who get the panicked call.
Yes.
Oh my God, I don't know what to do. They're the people who have to calm the situations down. And I have to say, it's really sad, this. I'm sorry, because we're going to have to end soon. And I'm sorry to end on a bit of a negative note. But after Grenfell, if you don't know what I mean by Grenfell, be careful searching for it, because it's really, truly awful. But it was a huge fire. And after Grenfell, even the people in the emergency services room are having to have counselling, because they were literally on the phone to people dying, and there was nothing they could do. Yeah, they just had to keep talking to them, and they were literally dying. Oh, it just makes me want to cry. But yeah, so they are at the sharp end. They're at the business end. They're the people who are dealing with these emergencies, but people forget about them. You know, they see the firemen running into the burning building. They see the policemen and the divers and they see that action, but they don't see the people.
It makes me wonder, how are they selected, these people? There is a special training.
A lot of training
for them.
Yeah. Psychological profiling. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. So not anybody can be on the job. They make sure of that.
Yeah. Right. No, there's a lot, and even then, you still get people who get. There's always something that will, the child that you had to talk to. There's always something that will make people. It's a really tough job. It's a really tough job. Okay, so
actually.
Yeah. So has anybody actually? I mean, I've phoned the emergency services a couple of times in my life. Usually on other people's behalf, I have to say, thank goodness. But once was a fire in a hotel. That wasn't fun. And another time was a fire in a restaurant. I swear to you, I'm not an arsonist. It wasn't me. But I do seem to... First thing I do when I stay in a hotel or anywhere strange, I check the fire escapes. It's the first thing I do. Yeah. Oof. You've only got to be in a burning building once to...
Wherever you are, in the UK, in France, in Germany, in Spain.
Anywhere. Ask my
husband. So you ask at the counter, where is the fire escape?
No, I normally look for the signs.
Okay.
Because normally it's law in a public building. You've always got fire routes, etc.
And you check.
But if I don't find a sign, then I would ask.
And if you find the sign, you check if it's blocked or that there is a free access, or because sometimes there is a fire escape.
I have been known to tell people to move boxes. Yes.
No kidding? Wow.
No, I'm not kidding. I was the fire monitor in one hotel. That's why I had to phone the fire services, because some idiot decided setting little fires in his room was fun. I'm not kidding. There's some very strange people out there. Yeah, he was taking the skirting board off the wall and lighting tiny little fires, because he was basically a pyromaniac.
Just idling and seeing what's going to happen, or
I think he just liked. He was a pyromaniac. Pyromaniac can't help it.
Yeah,
it's
right.
an illness. Yeah. But yes, that wasn't fun. That was not fun.
I don't know, but for me,
Artem's laughing his head off.
Yeah, Yeah, he's laughing. He's really laughing. But the problem is that, for
Artem
example, there
laughs
is a
at
fire.
everything. Artem could be British.
Yeah, but there is a fire at the moment in Spain,
Oh, it's,
and
yeah. And Portugal,
it
yeah.
started. It's a human
Arson.
is responsible for starting the fire in this case. So it's not so fun. It's an arson, yeah.
Yeah, it's arson. And in cases of arson, just take the first 3 letters.
Ars, yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's maybe for another discussion on a Thursday speakeasy. When we're not streaming live, when we're not streaming publicly.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
so anybody would like to add anything, ask any questions? Sorry you didn't get to read, Gavin. Yeah, it's bad luck, but you can watch the replay for what you missed.
Okay. You guys go ahead. I just enjoy your talking. It's funny and exciting. Thank you.
Funny, come
We're
on,
excited.
funny,
No, shush,
funny.
Zom, shush, shush. I'm exciting. God, nobody's ever called me exciting before.
Exciting? Being exciting? Wow. She's going to remember this one.
I'm definitely going to remember that. Gavin, if you're on the forum, send me your name. I'll send you a badge. So, any questions or any...
come on.
Anybody want to share a 999 emergency call that they had to make that
Shiny,
they want to share
Shiny-
publicly on the
Shani
net?
rang Shani rang once. She said she wrote the emergencies.
Oh,
You did, Shiny.
can
She
you
said
can
yes.
you tell us about
once,
it?
111.
No, because I saw a car accident in front of me, so it just happened in front of me, so I called the 911. But we don't call 911. We call 119.
119. Oh gosh. Okay, that's completely the other way around, isn't it? And it happened right in front of you. Did you have to give a statement, a witness statement?
No, because someone was faster than me.
Okay, good.
Someone-
Oh,
So
well, good for
I
you, though. Good for you for phoning. Some people pretend it hasn't happened. You know, oh no, I haven't got time, and it's illegal to do that in Germany, by the way. If you witness an accident, you are legally obliged to
ring.
provide assistance, to phone, etc. Yeah, you can't just walk away and pretend it didn't happen. In the UK, it's a slightly grey area.
Well, I think it's a grey area on France as well, but on purpose, because some people, you can't put yourself into danger, and if someone can't deal with the situation, go completely berserk with what they see, I can understand that they can't pick up the phone. So for me, it's fair enough that it remains a grey area, even if some people would just ignore it on purpose. I don't think everybody can handle.
Yeah, I mean, I think there
witnessing
has
something in front of.
From personal experience and having listened to somebody else, this is not my story, this is someone else's story, but as a young man, they would, and it's not my hubby, before you ask, Zom, as a young man, this person was driving around the country lanes of the UK. Now, the country lanes in the UK are very narrow and very twisty. Okay?
Yeah, true.
They're not like... Honestly, you've never seen anything like
And so
it.
when you rent
High
a car, don't take
hedges,
a car.
don't. High hedges, can't see what's coming around the corner. Anyhow, he was driving maybe a little bit too fast. He lost it on a bend, and he ended up upside down in a ditch in his car. Okay, so upside down in a ditch, couldn't reach the seatbelt, was hanging there, and a farmer came out from a local farm.
Yeah.
Came up to the car, looked. Went, bloody kids.
Hi, Derek.
Went, bloody kids, and walked off.
Nothing.
Did nothing.
He looked
He went, bloody kids, and walked off and left him there, hanging. Charming.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I think there has to be some kind of, maybe a legal obligation to at least phone the services or help, if not actually help, at least do something. So that was, and that's a true story, by the way. That is a true story.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he get out of it with no problem, this farmer, afterwards?
Yeah, because he didn't actually do anything illegal, just maybe a little bit immoral.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't want
right.
that guy when you're hanging upside down in a car, do you?
No, it's at
Smell
the
of
end of you.
petrol in your nose, you know, like,
Okay.
oh my god, oh my god, oh
You
thank
want to
goodness
take a
somebody's going to save me, and he goes, bloody kids, and walks off, and that's just not what you want, is it?
No, I just want a selfie with you in the background. I will hit a lot of like on YouTube. Please smile, shrink. Bye bye.
Probably, but this was a few years ago
Share
before.
with friends.
I think that, oh god, yeah, people do that though, don't they? They take selfies with, you know, a burning building behind them. It's a bit weird to me, but there you go. That's yeah.
No,
But good for
people
you,
do.
Shiny, for phoning and trying to help. You can't stop the accident, but you can at least, you know, be kind enough to try and get them some assistance. We do, which brings us back to the Birmingham Navy. Sorry if you missed the beginning of the call, but we were talking about this group of people famous for getting into trouble at sea on little dinghies
Yeah,
and rubber boats.
from Birmingham.
Yeah, they head out, you know, 2 feet from the shore, and then suddenly they're swept out and they're halfway to America before they know it. There was the surfer guy recently, went surfing, and he spent 2 nights out at sea.
At sea?
Yeah.
2 nights? Wow.
Yeah, he was very
In
lucky.
the water?
Yep, in the water. He spent 2 nights at sea.
2 nights. Gosh.
Yeah, he was very lucky, and he says he's not going to go surfing again. I can give you a little bit of extra reading.
Oh, yeah, he's been lucky on this one because if people of his family or friends knew he was at sea or out at sea, or nobody knew. If nobody knew.
There you go. That was it. Okay. He was 32 hours in the Irish Sea.
It's cold.
Yeah.
The Irish Sea is very cold.
But he was rescued by I think it must have been the Coast Guard who rescued him. Yeah, Belfast Coast Guard. There you go. So these emergency services, you know, real heroes. And there is, even though, you know, they could say, oh, he knew what he was doing when he went off surfing or when he went off on, you know, it's his own stupid, they will still come and rescue you. Even if you go walking in flip-flops up Ben Nevis, you know. But really we have to think about, should we put other people in danger like that? But I guess accidents happen to all of us, but I think we should maybe be a bit more prepared sometimes when we decide to do these things. Maybe.
Well, we are never, because it's the same
It's
when
never
we go.
going to happen to us, is it? Yeah.
Well, when we go to the mountain, there are a lot of people going skiing.
I
or
actually
just
don't see the story. I see only the sex robot promised revolutionary, serious, but also risk. Stay steady.
Sorry, Autumn, I didn't get it.
I just read out the headline of the article, which you have just put in chat box. It's not the proper link. It's another. It's about another thing. About sex robot.
Oh.
Promise revolutionary.
Well, that's strange. The link didn't go to that story. Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, have you got a problem on your? I'll send it. I'll put it in the I'll put it in the Google message. In the. That's really weird. No, it's definitely Surfer Pro. Have you got the link? Zom, did it work for you?
yeah, it works.
I will try to copy paste the same link.
Yeah, that's really weird. It should. Unless you might want to check your settings on your
No, he's talking
browser.
about another link.
Oh, maybe.
Sex robots promise revolutionary service, but also risk. Hello?
Okay, well, that's different. I wouldn't call that an emergency, personally. Okay, how weird. How weird. You might want to check your settings on your viewer. Make sure you haven't been hijacked on your links stuff. Well, they can do, can't they? If you click on something, but the Guardian wouldn't do that. I'm sure that's just.
No, it works. The link works perfectly.
Yeah.
So if it works for me, I think it's.
No, I don't really want to have that discussion. Thank you.
No.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Internet surprise me.
Yeah, the internet can be a real playground sometimes, can't it? I'll put the link into. Let me just see. Here you are. I'll put the link in here. So, and I'll put, I'm not sure, Dope, if you're actually in my, you might not be. Oh, there's so many atoms.
I am everywhere.
Atoms everywhere. Little atoms all over the place, but I can't actually find your avatar there. So what I'll do is I'll just
Occupied whole world.
yeah, I'll just put it in. I've posted it into the Hangouts and Sessions on the community in Google Plus. Okay, so that should work. Okay, so on that note, bizarre though it might be, we
Yeah,
will
bizarre
we'll
one.
stop.
Very bizarre.
Sorry if you had any confusion getting into the room, etc. Webinar Jam is really struggling at the moment. Something's gone very wrong. So, well, I'm on holiday over the next few weeks. So hopefully by the time I come back, they'll have sorted it all out. I think this is the last Webinar Jam session-y thing. Oh no, there's tomorrow, isn't there? Absolute Beginners. I might have to just record it in advance. But anyway, never mind. We can cope. We've always got a backup.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for coming.
Well,
thanks for reading and for taking part and interacting. It's always appreciated. Next
thank you
time,
for the session.
Gavin, we're going to get you reading.
Yeah.
Okay. Take care then. Bye. Bye, Shiny.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.